Just last month in Los Angeles, this billboard goes up condemning a Scientology policy called disconnection, where, according to critics, church officials pressure parishioners to cease communicating with family or friends who leave and criticize the church.
I think it's terrible. I don't think you could do a worse thing to a person than have him split up his family so they won't talk to you anymore. You lose your children, and they do it.
This is what Ron says happens with his two daughters, Denise and Lori, not long after he leaves the church.
They won't talk to me. My grandchildren don't talk to me, which is their kids, and I've never met some of my great-grandchildren. I don't even know how many there are. That is terrible. That is terrible, okay? That's why I'm doing this, Dan.
You have a number of great-grandchildren and you don't know the number?
Hey, hang on a second. Jesus Christ, that had... Sorry. I gotta get focused. Sorry, buddy.
No, no problem. This is tough. This is tough.
Right, it's tough.
Scientology says this is another blatant example of Ron failing to tell the full story.
With respect to Ron Miscavige, he's saying his daughters were pressured to disconnect from him by the church. It is simply not true. The church never entered into giving them any pressure.
Ron's daughters declined to give an interview to ABC News, but through an attorney tell us they have very good reasons to cut off all ties with their father.
Ron's daughters have relayed that they grew up in a house that they would call a chamber of horrors.
Ron's daughters allege that he physically abused their mother and them as well, striking them frequently with his fists and his belt. Ron says he did spank the girls occasionally and sometimes struck his wife, but he says his daughters' claims are greatly exaggerated.
I never thought that they would resort to this. I knew that I was going to be discredited, and I want David, who probably wrote this stuff, you come on television and confront me in person.
His daughters tell us, though, that perhaps the last straw for them was when their father moved in with their older brother, Ronnie, who they say abused them physically when they were children. Ronnie Miscavige would not speak with us either, but his father did address the charges.
He denied it totally. And when they were growing up, I never knew or never even heard that any of this went on.
As for the church, it says there is a policy of disconnection, but that it's a voluntary choice made by the members themselves, not under pressure.
Scientologists know what the policy is, and it's a policy that they want to abide by. They do believe that their spiritual progress would be impeded if they continue to communicate with someone who just attacks the church nonstop. That's what they believe. So they can decide that they want to follow that policy.
ABC News gathers a group of former Scientologists who show us photos of family members still in the church who they say have disconnected from them.
My name is Skip Young.
My name is Shelley Britt Correas.
My name is Lori Hodson.
The church denounces these people as enemies of Scientology whose family members had ample reason to cut ties.
This is my sister.
This is my son, Craig. These are my children, Jeremy and Jessica.
Lori Hodgson raises her children as Scientologists, but she says when the church and her ex-husband wants their daughter to drop out of school and join the Sea Org at age 15, she objects to no avail.
She came home the next day and said she wants to drop out of school, dedicate her life to Scientology, that the world's going to blow up, that she's doing this for me, and she was terrified to go to school.
3 years later, her son joins the Sea Org as well. Fed up, Hodgson quits Scientology in 2010 and starts speaking out against the church. In these texts from 2011, Hodgson asks her son if she can visit him for Mother's Day, telling him, "I really want to see you, and I miss you so very much." He texts her back saying, "What you are doing is not okay with me," and that if she wants to speak with him, she must get back in good standing with the church.
I just said, I can't do that. I just want to be your mom. I don't care if you do Scientology, just let me be your mom. I want to be in your life.
But as of now, both of her children refuse to speak to her.
It's not right what they're doing to families. It's not just my family. There's many, many families all around the world that are broken up to this disconnection.
The church has provided ABC News with video statements from both of Hodgson's children.
She keeps going to the media and putting our personal information in our life for the world to see with, false information. and which is just going to upset us.
I don't believe that she really wants a relationship with me. I think it is more important for her to have this vendetta against my church than to have a relationship with me.
When the church says to us, this idea that we break up families is completely untrue, how do you respond to that?
People are not lying. Their pain is real. Their daughters are not talking to them. Their sons are not talking to them. There are people who don't know, have never met their grandchildren. This is real. It's a real thing.
Look, the reason I wrote the book is so I can do something effective to change that policy of the church, which is disconnecting families from each other. That's why I'm talking to you here.
Despite all the nastiness now erupting into public view, Ron Miscavige insists he still nurses hope for reconciliation. After everything that you say has happened, can you forgive him?
Yeah. It's the only way anybody can move forward.
Ron said that he forgives his son.
He has nothing to forgive. His son has done nothing to him but care for him.
Do you still love him?
Yes. Hard to believe, isn't it? If he were here, and if he would do it, I'd shake his hand and I'd give him a hug.